Hello everyone. I wish I could say that was the first time I've said that since this is my first video, but no, it's not. This is the second time I've recorded this. I don't think this is going to be as long as the first video. My first recording was like 30 minutes, and there was no audio. My headset wasn't turned on, my mic. Um, anyway, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, I am making a Fight Night Whittaker versus Derrida predictions. Um, I believe at the moment of recording, this is getting made before the big hitters like, MMA Guru, Bedtime MMA, shout out Bedtime, he's the GOAT. Uh, Flucus Glazy, all of those guys. I think I should be before them, but we'll see. Anyway, to start off, I am not going to be making predictions for the prelims, because that would take a long time and research and things, and I'm not doing that for my first video. So main card only, guys. Sorry. And as well, I'm assuming everyone will know already, but Evlov and Pico is off, man. I really wanted Pico to chin him. It wouldn't have happened, but it would be nice. So hopefully that fight gets rescheduled. Let's all pray for the Chicago card. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's get into this. So first fight on the main card, Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan Guskov. I think if this fight happened before UFC 314, okay, pretty hype fight. It would two decent guys. I think if Bogdan Guskov is who I'm thinking of, right? Like right now, I'm not. This is like some budget kind of, or not budget. This is like some makeshift little setup that I'm doing right now. But if this is who I believe it is, then he's had some decent wins, and he's looked good. Kind of. I wouldn't say. I don't know if I'd say dark horse of the division, but maybe not as much as like a Mirzakhanov or something. But um, he's fought Billy Elikana. Yes, that was his last fight. Um, but at the same time, that was short notice. Elikana, yeah, I don't think he was very good. Um, I don't know if he finished him. I'm pretty sure that was a decision, which is not a great look for Bogdan, taking a short notice kind of regional scene guy to decision in his debut in the UFC. Uh, he also fought Ryan Spann, Volkan Ozdemir, so he's fought a few guys. But then, like Dominic Reyes for Krylov. Sorry, I don't know why I said that first. Nikita Krylov. His last fight, he lost to Reyes. He got chinned pretty bad, but that's not necessarily something to be embarrassed about, because Dominic Reyes is making his title run, GOAT stuff. He shouldn't need to make a title run. He should have won the belt. But anyways, Krylov also fought Ryan Spann. He beat him. He also fought Volkan Ozdemir. He beat him. And he fought Alexander Gustafsson. Beat Gus. And then obviously Scottish GOAT Paul Craig did beat Krylov. Honestly, I was about to say I'm not sure like what way he finished him, but let's be honest, it'll be a triangle. I'll get that popped up on the screen right now if that's true. So yeah, I think if you take away that Reyes loss, it's obvious. Oh, Krylov, I think will win. But at the same time, that fight did happen. So does that change much? I don't know, honestly. I think I'll go with Krylov, but I don't think he's getting a big splendid KO first round. I think I'm gonna lock Krylov by decision. That's probably the safe bet. But don't be surprised if Bogdan Guskov like somehow pulls off a big KO or something because like he's got power and he's got like decent hands, so you never know. Um, so yeah, let's get on to the next one. Asu Almabayev versus Jose Ochoa. I don't know how you say his name. I couldn't say it in the first recording. I don't care. Um, Almabayev. I'm pretty sure he just lost to Manal Cap, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I'm sure he got finished. Yes, yeah. That's the one where he was like running away. Yeah, so he lost to Manal Cap. But again, I don't think that's necessarily like, nah, you lost to Cap, because, he was about to fight for number one contender. So, I don't think that takes a lot away from him, especially because who else he fought? Is it Mateus Nicola? Mateus, I think it's Mateus. Um, he was okay, but I don't think he's in the UFC anymore. I might be wrong there, but I'm sure he's not in the UFC. Then before that, Jose Johnson, CJ Vergara, that's okay, not a bad win. Then Odie Osborne, that's a decent win. He's still alright. Um, but then who's Ochoa? Jose. I'm just gonna call him Jose. Jose finished Cody Durden in his last fight. I'd be lying if I told you when that fight was. But Cody Durden is not a bad win at all. Cody Durden is pretty good. Um, and before that it was Lonnie Kavanagh, and he lost to Lonnie Kavanagh. But again, that's one of those fights where that's not really a lot of shame because Jose is going to be young as well. Young, well, they're both young, Amabayev and Jose. But I think if you're losing to a guy like Lonnie Kavanagh, that's not necessarily something to beat yourself up about because he looks really good. Um, so yeah, realistically though, I'm probably gonna go with Almabayev by. Well, as I said, it's a 3 round fight, so I'm probably gonna just say Almabayev by decision. Yeah, Asu Almabayev by decision is again that's gonna be a safe-ish kind of bet. Don't bet though. Betting's bad. Um, next up the card, Shara Putin Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barrial. See, this is a tricky one because I I like yeah, I don't mind Shara, right? But he looked really shit in the MVP fight. But at the same time, is that down to Shara being bad, or is that just MVP's got such an awkward style? I think it's option two. So really though, if Shara's putting on a good performance, it's gonna need to be against guys who are kind of just gonna stand there and be a punching bag for him. Like who's he fought? Armin Petrosian, sort of like a punching bag. That being said, he tried to clinch and stuff. He had a bit of success, but still a punching bag. Mikhail Jusik, at that he looks better now because he's training with the fighting nurse and shit. So can only be a good thing. But uh, you know, didn't look good at that time. Um, Before that, there was Antonio Tricoli, um, and Bruno Silva. So not necessarily anything crazy. That is that is crazy actually. Wow, I didn't realize he. I thought he'd have fought somebody else higher caliber. Apparently not. But yeah, so he's fought those guys. Only lost the MVP out of them. and he's gonna finish most of those guys. Was it Bruno Silva that he brought to decision? One of them he did. I know that for a fact, but I don't know if he finished the rest. So yeah, that's the thing with Shara though. If you're just gonna be a punching bag, walk forward, strike with him, and you've not got that awkward kind of stupid style, then I think it's looking like Shara is beating you. Now that being said, Marc-Andre Barrios, he's not bad. He's not good. He's just kind of an average guy. He beat? Did he beat Bruno Silva? Well, his last five, he's fought Silva. He fought Dustin Stoltzfus, Joe Pyfer, Chris Curtis, and Eric Anders. He beat Eric Anders, and I think he beat Bruno Silva, but I'm not sure. He might have lost him. So he's at least 1-4 his last five, maybe 2-3. So I think if you're losing to those kind of, to be fair, he's kind of being fed to the wolves in Big Joe Pyfer, and then Dustin Stoltzfus is pretty good. Chris Curtis, I know he got finished by Pyfer and Curtis, but I don't know if he got finished by Dustin. So he's 100% fought. I suppose if you take away MVP though, uh, if you think about their caliber of opponents, Barrios probably fought the better guys, but I don't think I don't think it really matters. I still think Shara is gonna. Sorry, no, not Shara. I think Marc-Andre Barrios is just gonna be that punching bag that Shara is looking for. Um, and I think he'll be able to Shara will just be able to finish him. I don't know if it'll be as creative as his, the double spinning back fist. Um, but I think I'm gonna stick with Shara by probably TKO or KO in the first, maybe second round. But yeah, I think a Shara finish is pretty likely. Um, on to the co-main event. Piotr Jan versus Marcus McGee. Now, this is an interesting one because literally, well, I say literally nobody, all kind of casuals and kind of people, because people that know Jan, most people that just know Piotr Jan are are not gonna know who McGee is, and that is fair because it is a bit of, well, it is a lot of an undeserved shot up the rankings. I should say title shot there. Because Jan is a vet. He's, top of the division. He's been top of the division for a minute now. And the champ as well. So it seems weird to give McGee something like this. Especially when you look at who he's fought. Because, okay, like, let's see. This is last four. I didn't get the last five because I was using UFC fights. Anyway, last four. Well, two, I suppose. Jonathan Martinez. That's a pretty good win. Martinez isn't bad. And then Gaston Bolaños. He finished him, and I'm sure it was a decision with Martinez. Yeah, it was, because he was getting chopped up by leg kicks by Martinez, but he made adjustments and won. But you look at that, like I've seen people saying, "Oh, Purian, he's got good leg kicks too," but I think Martinez will not Martinez. I think McGee will be able to make the adjustments. No, honestly speaking, I think Jan is too high level, way too soon. Um, in that aspect, at least. Like talking about him being able to make adjustments against Martinez, okay. I don't think he's going to be able to make adjustments against a guy as good as Jan. Not right now, at least. Not this early. Um, you Jan in his last fight, he had that fight against Figgy. That was a pretty close-ish fight, but it was clear enough that Jan won, and he looked pretty good doing it. And that was the second of his win streak, because the fight before that, that was going to be what, the O'Malley Cheeto card, Cheeto Vera 298. That fight, or that his fight on that card, sorry, was the Song Yudong fight, and he shot him down. But at the same time, to argue for McGee, could you not say, oh well, before the Song Yudong fight, he got his ass kicked by Marab, had the kind of like fight with O'Malley. Some people call it a robbery. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what I would say for that. I need to rewatch that fight. And then he had that shitty fight with Aljo, the second fight. So you could say the decline because he beat Yudong, like Yudong's alright, and then he beat Figgy. Figgy's a good win. But then again, you got to look at how that aged. Figgy just got finished. But anyway, you could you could say Jan's on the decline. This is kind of the perfect time for McGee to get in there and take advantage of being able to get a big win over a good guy. So it is one of those weird ones where normally you would think, oh, easily Jan's gonna win this. Who's like McGee's a nobody. But I don't know. I think it's a tough one because I think what it will come down to, right, is whether it is a 3 or a 5 round fight. 5 round fight, I think Jan, it could go to a decision, but I think Jan would finish him in the fourth, maybe the fifth, but I don't know. But if, I think it's a 5 round because it's a co-main, but if it's a 3 round fight, then don't be surprised if if it gets given to McGee. If it's close, that is. If it's like obviously a Jan win, then no. But if it's a close fight, I would not be surprised if it goes to McGee. Because realistically, who wants to see unless you're like a big Jan fan, super fan, then who actually wants to see the rematch with Marab? He got manhandled the first time, 50-45, lost every single round. So what do we gain from seeing him just get his ass kicked again? We already know Marab can do that. So I think the UFC, it'd be in their interest to get fresh blood for Marab because he's going to go on to defend his title for a while. You may as well give him new guys instead of doing rematches. So it's just one of those things that it would make sense if they'd say, close fight, let's give it to the new guy. But if I'm not wrong, I'll pop it on the screen later when I'm editing. So I'll pop that on the screen whether it's a 3 or a 5 round. I think it's a 5 round because co-main. So I'm gonna say Piotr Jan by late round TKO. By late round, I mean maybe 4. 3 possibly, but 4. Okay, on to the main event of the evening. The Ritter, his last fights, he beat Bo Nickel. Yeah, he finished Bo, okay. Although that I will say that was like one of the weirdest performances, or well, weirdest finishing sequences even, that I've seen in a while. Just those like little love tap, shitty little para punches that he was hitting Bo with. Like, that was weird. But then obviously that led to the knee, when he cut off Bo against the fence. It was a nice knee, I'll give him that. But I don't know if it was a weird finish. Then before that, he fought Kevin Holland. It was a good finish, good round 1 sub, basic, just got him out of there quick. As my dad always says, yeah, you don't get paid overtime, so get them out of there quick. Shout out to my dad. So that is a good point, get him out of there, yada. But but look how that's aged. Yeah, Kevin Holliday beat Vicente Luque. Good finish, good win. But he just got almost. I was gonna say I was gonna say he got finished there, but no, he almost got finished. Ultimately, did lose the fight against D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, which is not a good look because D-Rod looked awful in that fight. So, give him credit for that if you want, but well, obviously, I give him, give DeRidder credit for getting a first round finish over a guy who has been in the rankings. I'm sure he's still ranked at welterweight. But again, it's a weird fight, kind of. And then he beat GM3 before that. Chill, decent win against kind of a gatekeeper, I suppose, for middleweights. But then before that, you've got to look at a loss to Malikin, Anatoly Malikin, and that is honestly out of those four guys, Malikin, GM3, Kevin Holland, and Bonico, Anatoly is 100% the highest level, and in my opinion, he's good, but I don't think he's really Rob kind of level, Rob Whittaker. So I think if you look at it stylistically as well, Rob is a bad matchup for DeRidder because he's got good takedown defense. A lot of people, like casuals and idiots, will disagree because he got taken down and subbed by Hamzat. But if you look at his other fights, like Rob has good takedown defense and he's good on the ground too. He's not bad on the ground. But that's kind of what you need in MMA now. Maybe not kick like striking in general, but it's really boxing. But these days, if you've got good takedown defense and good striking, then you're a winner. Especially if it's against these grappling heavy guys, such as an Islam Marab and things like that. Maybe not Marab because everyone that he fights is beating him. He's beating, sorry, not beating him. I just think like Rob's last five, he lost to Hamzat, but like that's a weird fight in the sense that the finish was because of his teeth, which there was an existing injury before the fight. So that's a weird one for me. I don't fully credit that because there was kind of things surrounding that, little problems and whatever. I can't think of the word for it right now. But then before that, he finished Aliskerov. Not crazy, Aliskerov. I'm sure he did get a win after that, though. So that's aging well. But, and before that, Paulo Costa. He beat Paulo. Again, that's kind of aged better now. Yes and no. Because he beat Paulo, and then Paulo lost to Sean Strickland. But then after Sean Strickland, Paulo, just at the weekend there, he beat Kopolov. So, yeah, okay. Might have aged well. Then before that was the Dricus fight. One of the strangest fights I've watched, by the way. Like, what? And then before that, it was Vittori. Beat Vittori. So, not a bad top five. And so, not a bad last five fights. He's got a positive record in those. And well, I suppose the Vittori fight's not aged very well because he's lost to Brendan Allen. Jesus Christ. He just lost to Brendan Allen. Like, jeez, bro. But really, I don't think it's a crazy big step up like like McGee and Yan, but I think it's still kind of a big step up for DeRidder at this point, because I mean his best win, Bo Nickel, now he's fighting Rob, former champ. Rob's gonna be top 4 maybe in the division. Might be bumped down a little bit because of guys like Imavov and Baralho and stuff, but I think he's still high up there. So in the end, really, I've got to go with the Reaper. I'm picking Robert Whittaker. Now, realistically, I think it's going to be Rob Whittaker by decision. That's kind of the safe lock. Um, so overall, prelims from what I've seen, they're pretty solid. I'm not doing predictions for them because can't be arsed with all that. But main card's solid, especially for a fight night is good. It's kind of, you know, Saudi and Abu Dhabi quality cards because they always get good stuff. Um, in regards to UFC events at least. Um, that's my predictions. On a final note though, thank you everybody for watching, sticking around to the end. If you have, maybe no one sees this last bit, but on a final note, Max blessed Holloway. Give him his praise, bro. Max, his next fight is looking like Charles. Honestly speaking, Max finishes Charles Oliveira, and I'll leave it with that. Thank you, everyone.